Welcome back, Soft Hands Garage. This is Chevy Doors Part 2, or as I like to call it, Chevy Doors The Revenge. They took it out on me a little bit. It's fine. Everything gets done eventually around here. It's going to be a long episode because they did work me over a little bit, but it's all good. We're moving on to the next thing. Hang out to the end. It's a good one. Okay, so we got some parts in. I don't have my knife. Here we go. Let's make sure we got the right stuff. Hinge. Upper passenger side. See, that's the way to label it as far as I'm concerned. It's always left and right, and I worry about who's left and right. I understand it's the trucks, but sometimes I wonder if everybody else feels that way. Anyways, so this is the passenger side. Oh, look at that. All this stuff is brandy new. All right, so this is the driver's side. Wait a tick. Yeah, driver's side. Oh, shoot. I said it backwards. Okay, yeah, that's right. Got our holes in the right place and our welded nut on in the right spot. Everything looks good. Hinge seems to be hinging. And then here we've got the rest of, oh yeah, that looks right. The rest of our window channel for the passenger side. And what did I get here? I don't remember. Oh! Huh. I bought this. I didn't even remember doing it, but I bought this. This is a hardware kit for the rear drums on the 60 on the GMC. So that's cool. Now all I got to do is get the right brake pads and we can get them worked on too. All right, we got enough stuff to keep us going a little bit here. This part's making it a little harder. I got a couple of the bolts in from this side. You know, of course, the other hinges are just so shot. They open and close like nothing. I can't open this hinge against that spring. And of course, it's going to need to be open to put these bolts into the door. Probably just going to take a pry bar, a little leverage, because that essentially is what you get once the door's on, is a big lever for leverage. But I need to, I think it would help me get to these bolts a little bit better too if I got it open. So I'm going to try that. Except that I can't find my pry bars. None of them. They used to be hanging on that rack over there is where I would keep them. But they're not there. I kind of have this vague recollection of I found a way better spot to store those, far more convenient and easier to get to. And not a clue. If you guys check this video out, if you see them anywhere, let me know. I gotta have my pry bars. What did I do? I got out of the shop for 3 months and I can't remember where my tools are anymore. I'm just gonna have to try this big screwdriver. I can't find my stuff. There we go. That's the ticket. That's pretty solid, huh? That'll do the trick. Okay, let's see what kind of damage we can do here. That is just, it's tight in there. It's just going to have to be the flat wrench. So he's on that way. And I need a extension for that. Thinking it's probably a good idea to mark where your hinge was, because there's quite a bit of play here. Even with the hole, with the bolt coming from the other side, that hole is big enough to give you a lot of wiggle room. And just looking at this bottom hinge, it comes out more that way. I'll try that. See what I got for that. I got enough corrosion from where the old hinge was to get it centered in here correctly, I think. You know, lined up that way. It's just the in and out. It's a little bit hard to gauge. So I don't know that marking it would have helped me with that either. maybe mark where the spring is. You know, like put a mark in here somewhere. Might give me more of the. I don't know. I'm going to probably take the whole door back off because I didn't do something right here. All right, now I put the inside bolt back on. And that one is going to have to be tight. I mean, you got adjustment in the door. I don't know if that's going to be good enough or not. We'll find out. All right, so what I did for this bolt from the inside, I put my finger up in the hole from the inside, and sure enough, there's a good size gap. I mean, it's probably not the length of this bolt in the head, but if you drop it just right angle, you could lose it in the abyss. I'm fairly sure. And if there is an angle that's right to do that, that's the angle I'll drop it in. So what I did is I just put a piece of tape on it here to where it'll easily come off once I start giving it some gas, but it's going to hold it on there until that point. Look at there. One each bolt. It worked like a champ, like I knew it would. Now I haven't got it tightened in there, but of course it's got plenty of thread, so I'm not worried about that anymore. But you know, knowing me, I'd tighten that thing down, the tape would get locked in there, and I'd go to pull out the socket and it'd fall off and drop into the abyss, which wouldn't be unusual. It'd be Friday, but if I can get it out of there, might as well try it now while the tape's not locked in there. But otherwise, it's in there. I don't care. The bolt's in there. If I lose a socket, I do. Just got to tighten these buggers down, and we'll get on to the lower hinge. How long is it? Okay, and put the bushings in. Sweet. That didn't work. That just blew that one. Come on. There we go. Basically, this one fit perfectly, had to be driven in. This set, I got 3 different sets. This set fits in too easily, like that one just kind of tapped in. And then this one that's too big. It's too large for the diameter. I'd have to drill the hole out to get that to fit in there. So I don't know. Get the pin, see what happens. I guess it does sandwich in there pretty good. And this is the pin that came with that bushing. Alright, I gotta make sure. I'm driving from the top. Is that the right thing to do? Of course it is. It'd fall out if it wasn't. And that one broke. You have got to be kidding me. Please inform me of the type of garbage that I'm dealing with here. Well, I had the hinge in upside down, so I suppose, right, good thing. So maybe it is just this hole is a little bit goosey-loosey. Alright, so this goes with the single upside. Alright, like that. Is that how it goes? Still needing driven. That's mo better. Originally, you've got this peened over end of the hinge pin that holds it in there, and you know, I gotta chisel out and basically scratched it. I did get a little tiny piece to come over, put a burr on it, basically is what I got going on there. But you know, most of the guys that I'm seeing do replace these, they just rely on that, on the splines there, and it being pounded in, which, you know, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it comes out and you do it again, which would suck, but it's not the worst job in the world, taking the door off. But anyway, it's good. I say there's no slop in it at all. It's just in there. I mean, nothing, no movement. So we're good that way. And it is what it is for the pin and how it's in there. So, alrighty, we get to put the door back on finally. Okay, this should make for some comedy. I have no idea how this is going to go. I don't want both of these to move at the same time. I'm the only person here, so How do you do that? Lock the wheel. No. That. Forget it. Duke or salt. I'm gonna need 2 hands. And this is now getting in the way. Get this down a little bit to get that bottom screw line. Where did I don't know what I did with the jack handle. I want to check the opening and closing thing. I got a couple snugged up bolts. Oh, she's going to require some fitment. There is pretty much no gap right there. Right at that point. So I'm going to be careful with that for sure. On the next one, I got real lucky here because it's not rubbing anywhere, but it's tight. And then as you can see, way big gap up at the top. I mean, it's not closed yet, but there it goes. I was thinking it wasn't going to close, but you can see the body line is off a bit. And yeah, that door gap is teeny to wider. So, and you can see it here. So we need to make some adjustments. I'm gonna let that bottom one out, pull it out just a hair, and push the top one in a fair amount, like at least I'd say a 1/4 inch. And then re-snug them and try it again. So as I suspected, this was going to be a problem because that has to be adjusted for that door adjustment that I'm seeing there. And of course, you can't get to all of the bolts. Like I can get to the inside one and loosen it, and then there's this outside one right there that I can get to. And then there's one inside where the door covers it. You probably can't see it. Yeah, no matter what you do, of course, the door is going to cover that. So there's no way to get to it. So what I got to do, and this is what I was just thinking, is I'm going to take the door back off, the hinges, And then I'm gonna adjust it then to where I think it should be, you know, to get rid of this gap. So, 3/8 or more, a little more maybe, to, get this gap right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the hidden bolt loose, and I'm going to tighten the other, well, probably just one bolt. And then I'll close the door and make sure it's right. And if it's not right, then I can still loosen those two bolts, make the adjustment that I need to make, tighten them, and all that while the door's still on it, and actually get the gap right with the door on it. And then I got to take the door off again so I can get to that bolt and tighten it. Okay, got the door off, got that loose. So I'm just shoving it all the way back because that's all she's got right there, and I needed probably at least that much. So that may be the answer to the problem, is that this thing, the hinge, just push it all the way back, all the way in or forward. Of course, this one is correct because I didn't move it. So yeah, that was definitely about what I needed. And so that may be the deal, is you just push that thing all the way back or forward, whatever. And so then I'm going to leave that one loose though still. So even though that means I get to put this back on and take it off and put it back on at least one more time, if I can. So this is the hardest. I need a shorter socket. Stay. I'm going to tighten this one down first. Can't see. There we go. Better. Okay, should be able to adjust it. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to get this in there with that door on. You know what? I'm just going to assume I got it right. I'm tightening this thing down. I mean, how could it not be, right? I don't see any way other than crawling in while the door's open, trying to get underneath to get the inside one. Because I won't be able to get to that one enough to loosen it with the door on. There's just no way. So, this is it. Just hope it's right. Okay, so it's weird. I took everything that it had out of it, that hinge. I pushed it all the way forward and held it and put the bolt, tighten the bolt down. And that isn't right anyway. I mean, there's like almost no gap down at the bottom. Honestly, view this as a very acceptable body gap. I mean, that's a nice gap, actually. You don't even get that in the hood or anywhere else on this truck. That's a nice gap. I don't think it has anything to do with the upper hinge, which is crazy because I didn't do anything to the lower hinge other than put a new pin in it. How could the pin cause it to, go that way? A new pin in it. Which kind of, if you look under the door, the gap there too, I don't know if it's getting that or not, but it's like an overlap right here at the end of the door. Like an overbite at that side of the door. So it's not right, and I think what I have to do is I have to take this back off and adjust the bottom hinge and move it that away. I slept on it a bit. Been thinking about this. And again, I just can't imagine that the bottom hinge has anything to do with it. I didn't move it. So I'm starting to wonder if maybe this is an angle thing, and maybe it needed to be angled up a little bit more on the top hinge. But I'm gonna go over to the other door and do the window stuff on it first. All right, we're gonna put this window channel in. Line it up with these. Oh, whoops, the old one's still in there. We got these nubs on here that you gotta jam them in there with. The old ones are still there. That's it. Just two of those. I guess they're metal. They were plastic. Just jam these in there. Wraps around good. This edge here, not all the way in there. Okay, so now I'm going to have to get it all the way down that as well, all the way down in there. Can't hold the camera and do that. All right, without the wing in there, it's kind of hard to simulate, but you can see that the window's in the felt. So that's kind of the main thing, and then I got it run all the way down there. So you just need to roll her down now and put the wing back in. Beauty. Right on. Ow. Hate geometry. Okay, problem is I can't remember anything from day to day, let alone from a couple of weeks ago. I was coming in on this side of this division here, and you got to come in on this side. Yeah. That's where experience comes in. Okay. So you gotta go that and then come up vertical. And it doesn't quite fit. You gotta jam it a little bit. Then you get her where she wants to be in here. And down she goes. And this window channel has to be out a little bit. Just to go in there. Okay. That's approximately where it goes. So probably was a good time to replace the rubber on the window wing, obviously, since it was out, but you know, it's not horrible. It's pliable anyway, and yeah. No, it was a good time to do that. But I really wasn't looking to tie into all that. I just wanted this window functional so that I could roll it up and down because it's hot here. And, you know, the whole thing kind of got into more than I really wanted to be doing. Frankly, just snowballed into what it is. So anyway, it's fine. It works. It'll whistle a bit, but so will everything else. So anyway, gotta put my screws in. They look all lined up nicely. Everything's ready to go back in there. Maybe I ought to try and roll her up real quick just to see how she goes. Yeah, like it. My hose clamp quit. I'm so close. I've got the window winder upper. I'm gonna have to just put that on. Let's see. That's what I'll do. I don't want to clip it on yet, because obviously I have to put the door card back on. Come on. Wow. It's a little tight right in there. Oh, that piece is kind of jammed a little. So I need to massage that a bit with the trim tool. Okay. Anyway, I'll mess with that a little bit. Okay, here's another tip, I guess. All the messing around I did, that little divider in the door, messed up, moved that clip off, and blocked that hole for the screw. You need that. It has to obviously be lined up so that you can run the screw through right here and into that. So it was a blank nothing. Covered up the hole, so had to lift the wing back out a little bit to get to it and get it set up right. So all right, that's it. There she be. Got to put the and we're done. While I got this door card off, you can see the mechanism back here for the push button on the door handle. And she's just a little squeaky, you know, and kind of rough. And then I got all the linkage in here for the locks and the interior door handle and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to clean that up, brake clean everything as best I can, and lubricate it all. Okay, she's not squeaky anymore. Look at that. Cleaned all this stuff up a bit and lubricated everything. And just a tip, when you're using brake clean, be careful. The tip, I was trying to avoid the felt, okay? And the straw pushed a different way than I was expecting and actually hit it. And sure enough, the felt came off of that piece. Fortunately, it's inside the door. Hopefully it doesn't. Yeah, brand new thing, ruined it. But it should be fine. Still rubber there, so. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do here is I got this piece here, and this just fell out when I took the door card off. Basically, is when it just came out in my hand, and I kind of played with it a little bit, trying to figure out how to get the thing on there right. But I had ordered the new one because it's just missing on the driver's side, and I can kind of see the clips. So it looks like these clips actually go on there, you know, like that, just hook onto the underside. And this one's a lot more spread out than that, than the original one. I don't know why. I don't know what exactly. It must be that these two clips, it has to go under basically all three of those on the sheet metal on the door. But I don't know. I'm going to clean it up some more, and then and see if, obviously not with brake clean, and see if I can get this shoved in there. All right, I didn't change the clips at all, because I mean that's the way they were when they came out. Although, kind of interesting. I don't know if you can see this or not, but this little square part of the clip is standing upright on this clip, and it's laying flat on the rest of them. I don't know what's supposed to be happening here, to be honest. And there's it's kind of slotted in here. You can kind of see where they're supposed to go. But the odd thing is they don't go up high enough to really grab on because of that indention. Actually, I should clean that too. Okay. I mean, tilting my head like I'm looking in here is, you know, just for show. I can't see nothing. I don't have glasses or a flashlight. See, if I clip it in there enough to clip it, it raises higher. Oh, I bet it's supposed to raise higher because the card probably goes underneath that. Okay, all right. Fair enough. I actually am feeling it clip in there, so. Okay, this is what I think happened here. So here's the new one, and it has that, you know, inside there. That's between that and these clips. That's what apparently holds the pressure on it. So these are maybe too flat, and I'm going to pry those up a little bit. And then this one doesn't go back on because it's folded the other way. And maybe what happened, maybe it fell out. I don't remember what happened exactly. But maybe it fell out and I had to pull this one out, and it snagged and pulled that up. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Something like that happened. So I'm going to push this one back the other way, and I'm going to pry up on those. Oh yeah, that's the ticket for sure. That's going to make them stick a bit. Okay, and then that one's the one that was out, and I pushed it back down a little bit. So sweet. I think I got her figured out. You're right. Straight through this hole. Oh, now I'm stuck. Now she's staying in there. I'd like to be able to get this up a little higher, but I guess that's where it goes. Beautiful. And that'll help with the window staying in track. Look at that. That's brand new. Once I tweak it a little bit. All right, sweet. Ready for the door card. Okay, this time I used the flashlight. And once I got in the door off again, I think that's the fourth time, third or fourth time, I could see that that gap was clearly indicating that the hinge was tilted upward, or I'm sorry, downward. You know, this angle. So I, lifted it all the way up. It's pushed all the way back. And then this time, only bolt I tightened is the center one. I can actually get to that. So I'm thinking that's kind of the key to it, is just tighten that center bolt. I mean, it means the door's going to have to come off again, but I was going to have to take it off 4 or 5 more times. Now, if I can actually do all the adjustments while the door is on with that single bolt in there, loosen it and make the adjustment and etc., I think it's going to save me time. And now the other thing is, of course, I'm absolutely certain that this is going to be the right adjustment. So, my temptation is tighten them all down and go for it. But I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be patient with this. I'm going to put it back on. We'll see how it looks. That's pretty darn close. But you can still see there's just it's a little bit lower. And correspondingly, just a hair higher. I mean, it is darn close. And this gap has gotten a lot better, though it is still a little closer at the bottom. And oh, that's looking a lot better. It's not overlapping anymore at the bottom. But there could be a little bit more taken up probably. So we're going to try my trick here and see if it works. Now that was a fast no. I can see it. That's what it was. It wasn't that I could get to it, but there it is. That's the bolt I need. Yeah. No way. Okay, it's time. Putting the card back on. Can I get it in there without this piece falling down? That's going to be key. Wow. So it kind of, I have no idea what's supposed to happen there. It's supposed to go in that. I may have to be buying these. Oh, hey, here's that. Oh, I haven't done that yet. I need to replace this. Alright, that's what this stuff is for. Yeah, this is pretty well gone. Yeah. I mean, it's just, you could clean this stuff for days. It doesn't stick at all. Are you kidding me? All the glue came off on that. It's probably been in the thing for so long, it's just no good anymore. Because nobody buys this stuff. Why don't you buy that? Alright. Alright, I got this spray adhesive stuff. Just soaked it down with that. I'm going to have to let it dry before I put it on because it'll just pick up everything. Until it does dry. Probably stick to the door while I'm trying to put it on. Okay, that'll work. All right, let's try this again. So, we have the door handle come through. Crap, I'm gonna take that hose clamp off. Right. Alright. Now, I'm trying to use this tool. No! It dropped out. Already dropped. It's over. Gotta pull the whole thing off again. This. You're getting better at that. Put it over the lock. Alright, cover this end first. There. Okay, so far, and it's down. It's completely down on the other side. No way to get that back up. It's like 4 inches down there. Go back up. Yeah, no, that's good. Except that it's not going to stay, right? Is there some, like, can I somehow, that kind of is in there, right? And then I got to leave it. Come over there, so let me get another. Alright, so jam that in there. It's already down, so that's too low and I can't get it back. Okay, I'm just going to be honest and tell you I don't think I got all the clips to snap into place. So, if you recall earlier in the video, I had to pry out the clips so that they actually applied pressure. Those same things that I pried out with a screwdriver clip into the door card. I guarantee you, I know for a fact I got this one, and I scuffed her a little bit. And I know for a fact I got this one. I'm pretty sure I got the one here, but I'm really doubtful actually that I got the one that's in here. I can't get it though. I mean, that's all I got. What I did was I took my pick with a curve on it. I started at the front and I lifted it up and I was applying pressure so it wasn't dropping in. I mean, it was a bear fight. There was no doubt about it. It wasn't like, oh, hey, look, I found the thing. No, I didn't find the thing. I found what I had to have to get it to snap in there, and that was it. And then this end here started to drop down, but it didn't drop down far enough. I couldn't grab it, and I pulled it up, and then I put the pick in here and pulled and pushed till it snapped. And then, like I said, I think that one snapped. I heard it when I was futzing with this, but I can't get anything on that at all. But that's pretty much all I got. Do you like apples? How do you like them apples? It's done. It's not new. But look, it's 1977. Is that a nice looking door? I'm going to replace the lock, knob. It's fine. Not a big deal. But otherwise, looks pretty good, doesn't it? Now watch this. Yeah, it's a little tight, which is good, but because it's squeezing it in there. But the main thing that's tough on this, turning it, is this knob is really tight on here for some reason. So hopefully that'll loosen up as it goes, but I mean, I like it. It's a good tight window. It's not going to shake in there. You can kind of see a little bit of a drop on that where it didn't clip in. But, it is what it is on that. It'll work. It's working. It's functional. It's kind of amazing how these things start, right? All it was there was no door or no window crank. And so, then you investigate. I don't want to put another window crank on there just willy-nilly when there's been two of them clearly that were both in the glove box. They were both broken. So, and you run down the fact that it's the window channel that's messed up, and you get that and break the next piece and replace that, and it's one thing after another. If you guys do know anything more about how to make these things stay in there and snap in right and everything, if there's a trick to it, let me know, because I still got to do the driver's side, and I'm not looking forward to it now for sure. But I am a lot more comfortable with these door cards coming off and on, because I did that, literally had to have been at least a dozen times. So I'm real comfortable with that, not hurting anything doing it and all. So, but hey, she's done on this side at least. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course, still got it on the door hinge. That's about as close to perfect as we're gonna get it. So that door is done. The other door, well, I say that, I still got to put the window holder inner down in there too. So that door card's got to come off. And then the other door, I got to do the hinges on it as well, which, look at that, all done up with the window up and everything. Pretty awesome. I probably won't show the whole process to that one because, you know, I just did it here and it's going to be pretty much the same thing. But I'll show highlights as I get it off, show you the broken hinge and, you know, anything else that kind of seems of interest with that side. I thought, no way that the inside hinge bolt is going to be as bad with this one. Where is it? Right in there. As it was on the other side, on the driver's side. And then what you're come to realize is that the space between the side inside here and where the where the glove box plastic starts is, you know, about that. And it was not enough to get a screwdriver onto the cap to pry it off. So I actually had to take the entire glove box apart to give me the extra ½ inch is all it is, because it just slides over is all I got here. I can't, it didn't come out. It just slid over. The ½ inch or so that I got there out of it was enough to get the screwdriver on the end of the cap to pry it off. So then I could get the short extension on the ratchet and actually get it out of there. But wow, that one was actually substantially harder, believe it or not. Okay, so this one, as far as these rollers go, I mean, they look really good. I think they're just right on. I mean, you still have plenty of groove on this. It's not wearing into the stud head. This still has paint on it. I think mostly because the thing broke before it got to that point. These nylon bushings are still intact. So when you take the force of the door pushing against the rollers off by fracturing the hinge, everything is perfect. Everything is in great condition. That's amazing. Those are nylon from 1977, guys. There's no slop in it. Those bushings are perfectly fine. I don't know if I'd put that back in. If I'm going to go to all the trouble of repairing this hinge, I'm probably going to take the pin out, put a new pin in with the, you know, that's one thing. I mean, normally it's, you know, they did it right in the old days and you're replacing it with junk. But in this case, it's the other way around. These nylon bushings were just an absolute idiotic idea, frankly. And the brass bushings that we have are going to be better and are going to wear longer. So, but that, I don't know though, because I mean, it's hard to replace something that's original. You don't get that very often. So, I don't know. Anyways, there it is. Old one out, new one going in. Okay, look at this. We got the nylon bushings in this one, and there's no slop. This is lower. There's no slop in here. I'm not replacing it. This one I'm having a harder time aligning. So what I did was I took it off again. This is just the 4th time I've taken it off. And I went with trying to make these flush and line up basically up and down the holes, the bottom hole of this hinge and the top hole of that hinge. Pretty well lined up, I think, right now. You know, because trying to bring the top hinge up like I did on the last one and stuff is not doing it. The holes won't line up when I do it. So they kind of pretty much have to be about like that, I think. Okay, there's something wrong here. So you can see this, the door hops down every time it gets to the break point. And then hops up. And it kind of dives down, right? If you don't close it hard, kind of hits the striker and dropping down. The line's pretty close. but I see why this broke. I mean, if it was like this. Well, I got it. So here was the deal. When I went to take these, the door off, this bolt was not hand tight, literally loose. There was about an 1/8 inch gap, and it was loose on here. So I just thought, whatever, doesn't matter, it was all broken and everything. So the way I adjusted the driver's side was I just did one bolt each on each hinge, the top bolts on each hinge, and snugged them down and tried it and, did my adjustment because I took the door off 12 times. So I did the same thing here. And then what I started pulling the door closed while I was sitting in it, looking, and I could see that this thing was a huge gap here. Like it was, even though this was snug, it was moving. So I tightened that thing, put this one in, made some adjustments, lifted the door up, did all the things. All right, check this out. One last adjustment, that's all it took. And I didn't even have to take the door off, so I'm at 5. Less than half having to take the other door off. And that thing is just beautiful. Check the gap. Now, on the other side, yeah, it's actually about the same. That's right about the same there. And yes, I did scuff. I had done the foam thing, but I was only looking at it from hitting this. Inside is a sharp edge of where the sheet metal wraps around, and was scuffing it. So I've got some scratches. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm just gonna leave the tape on there so you don't see it and it tick you off like it does me, but whatever. Anyways, this gap now, look at that thing, that's perfect. Well, okay, it's a little close up here, but anyway, body line, perfect, right here. Body line, perfect, right here. And it closes, it's nice and tight, no more shaking. I had lubed this door handle up, so it's nice and quiet too. Now do you have to slam it? I don't know, let's see. Not slam, just hard, Perfect. Stoked. I thought I was gonna have to buy another hinge for the bottom or do so. I didn't know what the heck the deal was, but it was just that loose bolt. Well, no, I didn't even have it in there. All right, so all I got to do is tighten her up and I'm done. Doors are done. Completely. Window working perfect. Doors working perfect. She's a beaut, bar. Next time on Soft Hands Garage. That's right, we went to the duct tape drags in Tucson this year again. It's our 3rd year running, and I got to see some of the guys. Got to see Derek from Vice Grip Garage. The Travis B was there. I got to shake his hand. So a couple Arizona guys, way to go, good job. So we're gonna be looking at some of the event, and we're gonna be doing some stuff on the GMC. We're back on that one. Chevy's pulled out. Going to be out for a little while. Going to be out under the awning for a little bit, and we're going to be working on the GMC some. So tune back in, check it out. It's going to be a really good one with the duct tape drags. Be there, be square.